Good morning. I don't hear you. Hello, hello, Imelda. I can't hear you. I know you're on. I don't see you, and I don't hear you. Have you muted yourself? Are you on an iPhone? There you are. I see you. Look down in the left-hand corner and let's see, are you muted? Brian's on. I don't hear you. Brian, hello.
Hey, good morning, Bob. How are you today? Hey, Melda.
Yeah, you and I got audio going back and forth. Imelda, I can't hear her.
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Finally, I got it kind of right. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing okay. How are you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is what it is. Doing okay in the framework of what it is.
I know, right? It's so freaky. The whole thing is so weird.
It is freaky.
Yeah, especially when you go down to 405 at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it looks like Christmas morning.
Exactly. I hear you.
I haven't even been on the freeway.
Oh, you got to get out, even if you just drive around.
Hey,
No,
Nikki.
Hi.
Who's
Hey,
that?
hi.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, good morning.
You moved your shoji screen into like a little cocoon there. I love.
Yes, I did. I was in my
Just-
mom's house originally, but we can't get along if we're in the same space for too long. So
Right.
I was like, you know what, Mom, to protect our relationship, I'm going to create a boundary and just do my thank you for the offer for quiet and internet.
Oh, funny.
There you go.
Just so you know, so my daughter is asleep right now, but she could bust in at any time. Just so you know.
You know what's so funny? Yesterday I was watching my favorite psychotherapist on the planet, Esther Perel. She was doing a webinar series on love on lockdown, and she was talking about how important it is for the preservations of relationships to establish boundaries now more than ever, and how to like deal with conflict when you're in this confined space. And it was so funny because as it's happening, she starts hearing banging in the kitchen. So she goes, speaking of boundaries. And it was really cool getting to watch her practice what she preaches. And something that they teach in about relationships is don't say, can you please do this? Because it's disempowering. So, they talk about assertive communication. So I got to watch her. She goes, in a very calm voice, stop it. Like, you need to be quiet right now. I'm in a webinar right now. And then so it was really cool watching her be direct, assertive, respectful at the same time, like watching the master in action. And then she's like speaking of boundaries and then continues talking about it. Then her husband pops in and she's like, I'm on a webinar right now. Would you like to be a part of it? And he just like has this dumbfounded look on his face. And then he like closes the door and she goes, and that is boundaries, ladies and gentlemen. It was just kind of funny to watch her. Like, see, it happens to the best of us.
Well, my wife has taken over the office in the house. And so my business, I'm relegated to the living room.
There you go.
And
That's
Tony's
cute.
in his happy place as he's connecting to audio.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Who's that there? What do we have here? Oh, Tony is here. Tony.
I think he's connecting to audio right now. That's what it says on the bottom.
Well, we know Tony's on. We got a video of a window. Oh, there he is. We can't hear you. Unmute. I can't unmute you.
How do I do it where I can see everybody on the, well, I'm on my
Up in the
phone.
right-hand corner, you got a gallery view. You can click on that.
What is it?
It's gallery or speaker view. Up in the
Oh.
right-hand corner is a little pull down.
So I have hide my video in gallery view. That's what I have.
Yeah, you can change the screen speaker view, which whoever is speaking picks up the audio and your video is on the screen. Then there's a gallery where you can see everybody and yourself.
I like the gallery view because then I could see everybody.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I'm the same way.
Well, that's what I'm looking for, so I can see everybody, because I only see people one at a time. And I don't see the gallery. I don't know. So again.
Are you on a phone?
Yes.
Oh, it might look different if you're on
okay,
your
that's-
phone.
Oh, okay.
You're on a phone, that's right. I should be able to, yeah, I see that.
You're lucky you can hear us.
Yeah,
I missed the first meeting on the phone because I saw y'all guys having a lot of fun and laughing, and I couldn't hear a word.
You're all watching us.
well, I'm recording this, so when we complete it and the thing gets compressed, I'll send it out later and there'll be a link directly and you can watch the kibitzing going on right at the beginning.
Sounds good.
I'm still trying to figure out how to, I'm pretty close, how to edit the recording before I send it out. But the kibitzing at the beginning is more fun than the meeting.
Yeah.
Well,
Have any
right
of you
now,
guys-
there's only 5 of us.
Have any of you guys done a Zoom happy hour yet?
Mm-mm.
No.
My office had one last night and I missed it, but
Uh-huh.
they said a couple of people have done that and they said it was pretty fun.
I went to a Zoom 50th birthday virtual dance party on Tuesday night.
Uh,
So, and it was like there was like 35 people on there from across the country, and
Wow.
and my friend Joanna was like dancing in the street. They had marked off in the street in the front yard the appropriate social distancing, and had one friend who was the DJ, and he just played music in front of his, and everyone danced in there wherever they were with the people there. So that's the closest I've had to like a virtual social.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
Wow.
Did
It
you
was
actually?
fun. It was
you-
fun.
Did you actually dance? You actually danced?
I sort of wiggled in my chair. But there were people full on dancing. They're like, hey, this is my workout for the day.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, we have Renette and Tom on. Tom, can you,
Hey, Tom?
hello, Tom.
Hey guys. Hello everybody.
Hey,
All right,
Tom.
we got you there. Yep,
Coming back, hi.
you got a busy board. You must, you gotta be in you're in your office, right, Tom?
No, actually today's my first day at home.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we had I was telling Tony yesterday that we had a man in our office test positive for COVID. So
Oh, wow.
everybody
Yikes.
ran for the hills. So I'm at home now. I'm just getting set up. So
It only
Nice.
takes one.
Yeah.
I guess I'm self-quarantining.
Yikes.
Well, we're still waiting
Still
for
hear me?
more, and we're waiting for Andrew, who's supposed to be directing us. And
Yeah.
God
There's
knows, God knows what we're going to see when Andrew comes on. I told him he should be a stand-up comedy.
Oh, I'm trying this virtual background thing, but I don't know if it works for me.
Whoa.
Is
Well,
it
I
like?
got
Yeah. Well, with that, you need a green background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you disappear into it.
Ah, it was worth a shot. I
Yeah.
saw Brian do it. And I was like, I want to try that.
Peggy's having the same problem,
Hey,
and
look at
Her
that. He's
machines
got a
can-
nice background.
Peggy's machine's from 2013, so she thinks, I don't know, I'd have to look into it, but if it's an older machine, it might not be as advanced, green screen
That's
ability.
what I found on my Zoom when I tried to change to a virtual background, was that my processors wasn't either fast enough, and even though my my version of the Mac operating system was far enough ahead, it has to do with processor speed. So I think it only works for probably machines that were purchased like in the last 2 years or so.
That makes
So
sense.
I know I tried to do a thing. I tried to have the Happy Hawaii background. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Why-
So
Rick,
apropos.
hey Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Tom, are you on your phone?
Rick.
I am, yes.
You're sideways.
Look at you this way.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, there he is. Okay.
Hey.
There we go.
Yeah, you had me. I had vertigo there for a minute.
Well, there's everybody. Now I can see everybody. All right.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hey, well, we're doing
Oh.
all right.
Hey, Rick, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hey,
Oh,
we hear you.
You.
Well, Andrew, officially we got 3 minutes.
Text Andrew.
So rather than the great room, we got the Zoom room. And
Here,
we got a
here he
good,
comes.
we got,
There we
there he
go.
is. Andrew is here. I can't hear you. We got blinds.
That was Dean.
What's that? That's your
All right, everybody, I got everybody.
You don't know if you got the money yet.
Yeah, nobody's muted.
I know, but do you have proof you saw it on your statement? No, because you don't have an ATM.
Andrew, we know you're on, but we can't hear you.
Morning all.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, we lost
Hey,
Tom.
Andrew.
Now we can't see you.
Working on that, Tony. I'm working on that.
Good morning.
Do we know if Deb was gonna hang out with us?
Do we know who? Oh, I think Debbie's coming on, but I'm not.
No, Debbie's not on.
Yeah, I doubt it.
We got 10 now. I think we got everybody we're going to get.
What about
Catherine?
Catherine?
Yeah.
Oh, Catherine's not. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
Oh, well. We'll get another minute and we'll see if anyone turns up.
There he is. Did you just wake up?
Yeah, man, I'm taking advantage of these lines.
I know my clock has shifted dramatically. I've never been a super early morning person, but we find ourselves staying up till 2,
Yeah.
getting up at 9:30, 10. It's just, oof.
There's good movies on.
Yeah. lots of good topics.
You have a recommendation?
We just started Ozark again.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's really intense. We just started watching Pandemic on Netflix. It came out in the
Oh, how is that? That's on my radar.
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to touch upon what's happening now. This was produced in 2020, and they had a date of February 8th when something happened,
Interesting.
flu-wise. And I'm kind of wondering if it's going to be that up to date. But yeah, they're saying it's not. This was produced early in the year, and they're like, it's not if a major pandemic is going to come, it's when.
Wow.
So it mirrors exactly what's happening, and everything.
Is it a series or is it a
Yeah, I
documentary?
think it's like 6 episodes so far.
Wow.
I'm sure they're going to continue it.
It's 8:45, so let's just rock and roll. As it's remote, my plan is to be concise and to cut some of the team BS out because I'm not actually meeting anyway. So I haven't even done the presentation because I haven't worked out how to put a presentation on my smartphone and to do the call. So no presentation as stands. It's a work in progress, everyone. But my thing today was just to go around, open business, discuss kind of what I talked about with all of you individually last week and just kind of get views, feedback, issues, concerns. and then just give everyone a couple of minutes to do their 1 minute, even if it's a little bit over. Catherine, is Catherine on?
No, I text messaged her, but no word from her.
Yeah, so I mean, Debbie did ask her to speak, but I think it's going to be difficult for some presentations on here, or at least as long a presentation. So maybe we can break it up and give a few people 5 minutes rather than 1 minute. So that's kind of what I want to do in the open business, just to see if we can change the format up and keep it fresh and actually make this as productive as possible. And I'm going to just try and keep it to kind of 45 minutes rather than doing an hour and 15, because while we're meeting in this, way, it just seems more, it makes more sense to be a bit more streamlined. So I'm opening the floor to everyone. Thoughts, concerns, opinions about what's happened, what is happening, suggestions, ideas. Take it away. Anyone?
Well, I think the Zoom format is a good format. Let's see, today is Thursday. Tuesday, I had 6 Zooms in several groups that I'm at, plus my clients and customers, and everybody's sort of getting into the swing of it. And I think it's very efficient. We know for sure that this is going to last the month of April. What happens after that, who knows?
Right.
But to keep the integrity of our group here, I think our Zooms are good. The only one I see we don't have is Catherine right now.
Right.
And she was on last week. But maybe, Andrew, maybe we ought to go around the table here and ask everybody kind of how they're dealing with this as far as their business.
Yeah, that was my idea, Bob. I want everyone's idea on what they think about, rather than doing a 10-minute speaker, just having maybe 2 people have 5 minutes, and rather than doing an actual presentation, just people giving updates and just trying to keep it fresh. Because whilst we're meeting in this format, I know I need to have the room to present my full ability and throw jokes out there and use the room. Catherine's very visual with hers as well. So I think rather than kind of suspend this, just the speaker lineup as we had it, and just kind of taking in turns, because this is going to be a couple of months, I think, Bob, like this. So just kind of take advantage and have a couple of people on 5 minutes, and just try and keep up to date with what people are doing. If people are doing anything else in the meantime to keep afloat, how we can help, and vice versa. So, I mean, next on my screen is Brian Evans. So, Brian, what's your opinion on anything? Got any thoughts, comments, kind of?
So a couple of thoughts just came to me. Number one is, Renette, if you could tell us sort of who is coming up for renewal in the next couple of months, because I know that was a real point of conversation that we needed to talk about, kind of how we want to present ourselves. So that's definitely part of the open business. And then I think I think what we have is the flexibility to create our time together in a way that's going to work for everybody. And so I think it would be valuable for each person to say, this is what, during this time that we're going to be virtual, so let's say it's for the next 90 days, what I'd like to get out of my team involvement is this, so that it can be valuable for everybody that's involved, knowing that it's not the way that we've been doing it before, but what can we do to make it productive for everybody involved? So I'll start with that by saying, for me, I don't, I renewed back at the end of December, December 31. So I'm in for whatever we create. It's not early in my term. I'm not about to renew and sort of evaluating, and also in the space of the economic and business environment that we're operating in. I'm in. So please know that for everybody here, whatever you decide, you'll have to make that decision for you, but I'm in. As far as what I'd like to give to team is, whatever I'm practicing in my own business with my own clients, is what I want to offer to everyone here in our team. I want each of you at the end of 90 days or 180 days or however long we're doing this to have something still existing that's helping, even if it's modified from what it was before we went into this. So please do call on me. Please do utilize resources. I want to help you all as much as I can. And this is a moment where I think having a connection with a business coach will help you to do that. So I will offer some of the things that I'm seeing, some of the things I'm hearing, and also some strategies to hopefully help you guys to ride this out, just like I'm riding this out. I mean, I was a little relief. I had some clients renew. I had some make their April payments. April yesterday, I was like, okay, good, because I didn't know whether that was going to happen or not. So, and then as far as what I'm looking for from team, it'll evolve week by week, but some of it is just going to be sharing out some of the offerings that I'm making, and I'm really going to be asking each of you to help me with that, because so much of my focus right now is for helping people to survive these next 90 days, even if that means changing the way that they do business. So that was a very long answer to, I don't even know if it was an answer to the question you asked, Andrew, but that's what I wanted to offer.
And finally, Brian, if you could just explain the meaning of life for me as well.
The meaning of life is to serve others as you serve yourself, and to serve yourself as you serve others. With peace, love, and joy.
He had that
There
one
you go,
prepared.
Yeah,
Nope,
thank you.
Totally off the cuff. Hey,
Yeah.
Catherine.
I was just teasing Brian.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think you touched on something there, that this group's kind of gone from possibly a growth group to a survival group for the next 90 days, which I think is a pretty good point. So people will have to adapt on that. I mean, Renee, he asked you
Catherine is
something.
on.
Say it again, Bob.
Catherine is on.
Oh, excellent. Morning, Catherine.
Thanks, all here.
Renette, Brian asked you, I guess he tagged you, so comments, opinion.
Okay. First of all, the open renewals, and to let you guys know, I have a bank balance. We're still at $1658.90. We have to talk about dues at some point, because some people paid for March and some people didn't. So we have to decide what to do with that, but not today. Also, okay, so renewals. 4-1, as we know, was Dean, Nikki, and Deb. I kind of texted with Deb, and she seems to be out no matter what happens. Do you guys has anyone else heard from Deb? Is she out, or could she?
I spoke to Debbie, and I mean, she's out as it stands because she didn't think that team full stop was worth the money she was putting in. She likes the contact she's made, but I don't think the returns are what she wanted. But obviously, if we did end up going and doing our own thing and there was less in, she might be interested. I think now, for the time being, because she's full-time mom and teacher, that she's kind of stepping back anyway.
Okay.
So I think that's just one we'd have to touch base with at a later point, to be honest.
Okay.
I think Catherine.
She said she was out. She said she was out.
Good.
Catherine, I don't think we can hear you.
I was waiting for everybody else so I could say something. I understand that she's out because she didn't think the ROI was worth it. But since it seems like we're not collecting or doing anything until we're back at the great room, I don't see any reason why she shouldn't be here. I want to bring her back into the fold because I think she's an integral part. I know that we all benefit from her presence. And I think there's, this just shows me more work that I need to do to make sure that all our team members find value in this. There's more that we can do to help each other, and I'm making it my goal to get her back in, whether it's with team or with her own group, without pushing. I mean, I get it, homeschooling, I have 2, she has 1. It's hard, but we all have hard things that we're dealing with, so we all need to work together on this.
Yeah, I've contacted her a couple of times too, and, just to reach out and stroke her and tell her how much I think she really did a wonderful job. And, right now, even membership is deferred for a couple of months, even if we're going to renew. So yeah, I agree with Catherine. I don't see any reason why she couldn't be on for a little while. I mean, I learned so much from each one of you on what you do and your jobs and your businesses and what you're doing and what the situation, I get some feedback from everybody here on the situation that's out there and how you're dealing with it. So I think that's what we ought to pass on to Deb. I mean, she really was a very valuable person.
I agree.
Yeah.
We miss her.
If she wants to come back, she'll come back, won't she? I think everyone's given the olive branch, so hopefully she takes it up on that. But you know, for the time being, we can't really force her if she wants to. The ball's in her court, isn't it? She's, you know, she hasn't got to pay to be on a Zoom call. Even if we hadn't renewed, I mean, we could have easily. What would they know if she was on the
know
call
from all
anyway?
of us, we need her back. I think.
Yeah. She just had a nice balance. So yeah, there was, what did you say? There's Dean and Nikki. I'm
Yeah.
due for in May, I think.
Yeah, Tom and Andrew are May 1st. And then we have the June 1st, but that's not the issue yet. But so Tom and Andrew, you need to reach out to, well, no, not yet, but those are the other two that we need to worry about.
They said to us on the call, Renette, that they were going to do it until June 1st, but then the email I received, I don't know how many people copied in the email, didn't actually look, but it said that it was on suspended payments until social distancing was over. So, I mean, I don't know if team are following the Trumponian, this is going to be finished in the next 2 weeks. But I can't see them holding off. But the longer it goes on, the more people from other groups will ask about this as well. So, I mean, as I said, we have a contingency plan if we need it. But I mean, if they do hold it off until social distances remain, then I think it would be very, you know, it'd almost be unfaithful or not very fair of us to actually renew anyway. Then, because they've given us that lifeline or that, you know, that flexibility. But we'll just play it by ear, I would say, on that one.
Right.
But, yeah, and with regard to dues, I mean, I never paid for March, so my thing is we can either give everyone their money back for March who did pay, or we make sure everyone's paid the 2 weeks who did meet. That's my kind of call on that. It's a straight vote between the two, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I found her email. It says that they won't collect dues until we start meeting in person again. So who knows when that would be. Just to let you guys know, I was going to renew just because, you know, like everyone says, everyone knows, I feel there's value in team and meeting. But, you know, I was going to renew and hoping I would get 6 to 9 months, you know, my membership out of it. But I'm willing to do whatever the team wants to do. I'll renew when we all decide we're going to come back. And if we don't and we decide to do something else, you know, I'm with you guys. Like Brian said, whatever we decide to do, I'm in.
Same.
One consideration might be, you know, there are going to be long-term effects to this shut-in. A lot, even let's just say magically, May 15th, you know, the lockdown or the stay-at-home is over. People aren't going to get back up and running full speed again with business till July-ish.
Right, at the earliest.
Slow for a lot of businesses. So, you know, that's something we should think about. Like if we give a reprieve for 2 or 3 months to certain members now, maybe we want to consider giving everybody a 2-month reprieve. I don't think we're going to get back to normal for a long time, personally.
Yeah, well, that's why it was kind of disappointing on the team attitude. And Kelly, I mean, she seems to think like she's the only game in town. I don't know. It's just weird. And you would think they got a lot more feedback from the other teams. And, you know, maybe she's trying to keep her strong position, or she really believes that. I don't know. But I think they're really going to have to rethink their whole model too. So however it ends up, you know, we'll see. But I just thought it was kind of interesting on her attitude.
Can I say a bit about that?
What?
She seems surprised about that, but I just said to her that, you know, in our group, it's just because we have a few people that are due to renew. So I guess if everyone was in, you know, if the earliest we had anyone was September or October for renewal,
yeah. And she said if you want to renew now, they'll give you $50 off. But when we restart, you have to pay your full annual dues and the full amount, including the $50, no more discount. Yeah. So, wow. I don't know. That's weird. Assuming we're out 2 to 3 months, and then she wants you to pay the full amount. I don't know.
Can I say a bit about that, please?
What?
I know that you guys are all trying to conduct business normally, but my business is still very up and running, and I talk to small business owners every day. And the thing about this is, and I cannot understand it, everyone seems to think this is happening only to them. And that if they do one or two things differently, that it's not going to affect them. And I think Kelly is still in that denial part of this.
Seems like it, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is my biggest frustration over the last week and a half, that everyone who calls here really thinks this is somehow really only happening to them. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna have a little thing here, because I've had crying episodes over this. I've had anger episodes over this. People are just sticking their head in the sand right now. And I think having this group and us being business owners that have seen each other's business grow and talk every week, we're more aware of the, how this is affecting other people. But the average business owner who's in their little bubble, and I'm surprised Kelly's doesn't see it, but the average business owner who's in their little bubble is just freaking out. And like I said, they really think this is only happening to them. Just floors me.
I want to piggyback off that because I'm not as connected as some of you guys are. So I am definitely becoming more aware of how it's affecting everyone just by listening to everyone else's experiences and just reading the news, because I feel like, how's quarantine for you? And I feel like, it's like same old for me, but it helps hearing from everyone else. It's like, wow, it's not same old for everyone else. And as a clinician, I need to be aware of these challenges that people are having so that I can, cater my marketing and my services to people that really do need, that are experiencing a cry for help to some degree. So I really appreciate hearing from you guys what everyone else is experiencing, because sometimes I have tunnel vision and I just don't see it. So thanks for mentioning that, Renette.
Yeah, this has been a very, I think, overly frustrating week for me. People always surprise me, but I guess it's because I expect more from people. However, the degree of the lashing out, shall we say, I don't even know how to put it into words, but they call this office angry because maybe we didn't do something on time for them, but they don't realize the extra work this is all put on our office. I have 50 business clients calling here every day asking how they can get the small business loans and how can I help them fill out the paperwork in the middle of tax season. And tax season's going right along, but now they think that we should drop everything and do their work for them, even though they haven't paid us for previous months. It's just the level of unaware audacity. And they call here we had a client call here yesterday and they were just livid that they got their tax bill and it was more than they thought it would be, but it was less than last year. But they had this righteous attitude. They call here yelling. I've told my staff, just don't answer the phone, let it go to voicemail. Maybe they'll calm down by the time we call them back. But they really, I don't even know how to put it into words.
You can fire that client.
Yeah, but I mean, we keep firing clients, or we have to give them a benefit of the doubt because we know this is happening to them, even though they don't realize it.
Well, emotions are running high right now, and then you add money to the mix.
Right.
Everyone's very emotional right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm experiencing. We're just overloaded here, and it's insane. I guess it's a good problem to have.
Oh,
Who's that?
I'm going to tag Rick because he looked like he had something to say.
Brian asked if we have who are our 6-1 renewals.
6-1, Rick's one. I think Imelda's probably in and around there as well, isn't she? There's
It's me, Rick, Imelda.
There you go. So there's like the 7 of us in the next, over the next 90 days, which is why I made the call.
July 1.
Yeah.
And Brandy,
that's
July 1.
Exactly. So we're like, pretty much the whole group, with the exception of possibly obviously Brian, who's already said he's renewed, Tony, and who am I missing? And Bob was the most recent one. So pretty much everyone else is. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that are at this time of the year. But as I said, we have a plan. We can work on that should we need it, but we'll take them as they are at the moment. But I guess my last thing to ask on this is, how do we want to do these calls? What is it? Just because I don't see the point of doing a full 10-minute presentation. It's hard. It's distracting when you're doing this. I mean, I've had the cat attacked me about 3 times while I've been talking to you. So to concentrate on someone's 10 minutes is going to be a bit more difficult possibly than being in the room and being able to put your phone down and ignore everything. But, you know, people just want to just kind of keep it more concise and just do a kind of a 2 minute rather than a 1 minute, and then maybe have a feature for 5 minutes or something like that, and just try and keep it more streamlined? Or do you want to just try and copy the team way of going while we're meeting in this way? 'Cause it just kind of seems like the playbook's probably out the window now because we're meeting in this format. Anyone, thoughts, opinions, comments?
I thought about the presentations. I think that with Zoom, it's still possible to do a 10-minute presentation. It might be challenging if you are a dynamic person and you like to do, you know, hands-on interaction. But online learning has been around for a long time, long before Team. And people are now using Zoom to do webinars. So that they use the share screen, they share a Word document or a Google Doc or some kind of presentation on their screen, and people are able to follow along, and you can have a little talking head next to it while people are doing. So I think it's definitely possible. So I would hate for someone that is, you know, okay with the technology to lose on that opportunity to do a 10-minute. But I think we could be flexible. So if someone only wants to do like 5 minutes just talking, or if someone wants to do a presentation, kind of keeping it open, because I understand everyone here has different levels of tech savviness. And so being flexible in terms of timing, someone might feel comfortable doing a 10-minute, whereas someone might feel comfortable doing like a 3-minute or something.
No, that makes a lot of sense, because the people who have skills like you and Bob could show us how to do all that stuff, because I've never done it.
Yeah.
Brian's real good at it too.
And Brian, yeah, but that's what I mean. You guys can do your presentations and we'll do ours, but then we'll see how it's done on Zoom, different ways, and we'll all learn.
It's fairly easy. You just, I don't want to go into it right now, but down in the bottom, in the middle of the screen, you see that little green square that says share. So if
what's the schedule, Andrew? Who's up? I'm sorry, who's up next couple weeks, Andrew?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea to touch base with everybody today and see how everybody's dealing with this.
Well, as far as I know from last time, Catherine was the next up. But, I mean, obviously, we didn't want to kind of force her to do a presentation until we knew what was going on. And then after that, I have no real idea because I haven't really looked at the sheet. But, I mean, I'm willing to take sacrifices. If people want to go and they want to, if people have got something ready to go and they're to use in this medium, then we should let them go as far as I'm concerned. Because, I mean, I've got nothing to, I'm not even sure how I would do a presentation on my phone. I'd probably have to get a laptop working. So, yeah, I don't really know. But, I mean, Catherine's up next. But if people want to have a go and crack on with it, that's fine. Tony, yeah, you're waving.
Well, when we started this team, Renette and I, back in 2014, we didn't have technology. We didn't do our presentations. It was old school. So I think even if you don't use the share screen and the full, features of Zoom, if you still have your 10-minute presentation, you have it here in front of you and you can share it verbally like we normally did in the past before we ever got high tech.
Yeah.
It's still valuable and everybody has something to share, when it turns. So whether it's old school or high tech, sharing on screen, I think it's still, valuable. And I think it's still,
I agree.
And
worst case, I guess for people, I don't know how many of us are using our phones this morning, but for those who possibly haven't got the laptop to sync in for this, we can always email the presentation to somebody else and let them share their screen and then just talk over it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brian had something he wanted to add.
Yeah. Okay, Brian.
You're on mute, Brian.
Just listening to what Tony was saying and thinking through, I think it's even more important now that we do each share at least some portion of our 1 minute or to 10 minute is not only explaining about our business. I mean, we've got a core group that have been with each other for at least a year, so we kind of know the basics of what each person does. But you could also frame it in during this period of time, or how my business is evolving and what I need right now. So Tony's a perfect example from what he shared last week about some of the limitations. So how can we help Tony now versus how could we have helped Tony a month ago? So I think that's where the 10-minute does come in. I think it requires from each of us an agreement that during our 1 minute and our 10-minute presentation, please, if we're going to be here, please let's pay attention to each other. Please let's make the agreement, all 12 of us, that we're not going to look at our phone during that period of time. Because it is so easy to be multitasking when we're on Zoom. But I think right now it's even more important for us to listen to each other and what we're asking for and what we need. And if we can make that agreement, then I think the 1 minute and the 10 minutes will really have a lot of value.
I think it's worth a shot. I mean, definitely. I want to see what you guys do on screen. I'd be interested to see what you come up with.
And I also want to add that this learning how to use Zoom and give a presentation through an online platform is a valuable business skill that every one of us can benefit from. And I think this is a safe place for us to kind of work out the kinks without fear of judgment or losing credibility, because we're in a safe space. We can actually fumble with technology, and it's okay because we understand it. So it's a good place to practice using these presentation skills in an online format too.
Yeah, nobody has to be perfect. And when Brian started talking, I was going to jump in and say the exact same things. I think if you want to use your 5 or your 8 minute or whatever it is you choose,
it's good practice.
For all we know, some of us are really, really hurting and struggling and need brainstorm ideas. So it could be, here's the problem for 2 or 3 minutes, and can you brainstorm with me for 5 on things I might try to do? And can anybody help me do this? I think that would be a really valuable thing for
I see
a lot of us. Some people may not be as forthcoming right away, but as we start sharing, it might come to be. Just a couple of real quick tips about Zoom. Those of you on the phone, for next time, if you want to turn your phone on the side, you'll be full screen rather than a sliver of a visual. You'll be more landscape, panoramic. And another thing is, if you look in your upper right-hand corner of the video window, you'll see looks like a little crown, and it says gallery view. I find that to be a little more enjoyable than speaker view. Speaker view means whoever's speaking has the entire giant screen. But if you go to gallery view, like I have right now, I'm seeing a Brady Bunch grid of 12 people.
Yeah.
It's a little more, I don't know, team-like, I guess. You feel like you're in the room with everybody.
Yeah.
And there, Andrew, yay.
Oh, there it is. Found it. Oh, yay.
I wanted to jump off something said that Brian said
That was a great
Excellent.
Sometimes we're struggling and we not be, using the opportunity to say, hey, this is our struggle. And that made me think of, I see this group evolving where no matter what direction we go into kind of at this point, it's becoming a mastermind group where we're pulling our minds together to figure out how can we support our community? How can we support each other? How can we support ourselves? So I really like that suggestion, Brian.
What I was going to say is I haven't heard from Tom. Who else have we not heard from? Mel's has been quiet. Catherine, anyone thoughts, comments on this? Catherine, you were next up. Are you okay doing it in this way? Could you come up with something for next week, or is that too short notice? Do you need me to get someone else to volunteer?
First of all, I like how you're going in and out. It's sort of like this wobbly thing. I like Dean's mustache. I mean, that's pretty cool today.
I've never been able to grow a beard, so I'm giving it a shot.
That's really cool. I think that we have
Actually, I had to do some maintenance.
As crazy as this time is, I agree, as much as I'm not a tech person, but I'll do the presentation next week. Thanks for this time to reflect and figure out what I want to talk about, because it's definitely not going to be weddings and events. It's very morbid in my world these days. It's like, okay, so anybody know anybody who needs a life celebration party?
Oh,
I mean, what way do I go? So we'll talk about some happy, but we all got to work in this together. And it's the biggest oxymoron. let's separate, let's social distance, but let's work together.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And I wanted to throw it out there. If you want help with the slides or Google Slides to do your like the tech stuff, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to support you.
You know, I will.
There you go. Tom, Imelda, anyone?
Yes.
Thoughts,
Hi.
comments?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Got you, Tom.
Okay.
We can hear.
You know, I just did my first Zoom yesterday, so this is all brand new stuff to me. And the comment about this can be a valuable tool. I can see how this is something where you could meet face to face with customers, you know, in the future. So this is invaluable for me. I'm still learning it, but the question about, you know, what the team is going to do, I think whatever you guys want to do, I'm in 100%. I know that Andrew and I are the ones that are coming up for, you know, re-enrollment or whatever you call it, renewals. At this point, I'm willing to go and do whatever you guys want to do. I did want to also comment on, you know, a lot of us, you know, a lot of us in the financial market, I'm going to call them the financial markets, Renette, myself, Tony, Dean, Andrew, you know, we're in a situation where everybody's calling us right now with a million different questions, and rightfully so. You know, what Renette was just mentioning a moment ago, I know that Dean is feeling the same thing. You know, I'm sure Rick, to certain degrees, even Imelda, you know, what am I going to do in these? So everybody that has to do with people's money is fielding a lot of calls right now. You know, I had a long talk with Tony yesterday morning, and I kind of filled him in. I hope I don't bore you to death here, Tony, but, you know, a lot of people are asking about, you know, mortgage deferrals, putting their mortgage on deferment. And, you know, so I'm fielding those kind of calls right now, not necessarily calls about, hey, I want to refinance. So, you know, part of being a good steward here is helping people through their anxieties of, you know, what's going to happen to my house? What's going to happen to my, you know, how do I pay this bill? How do I pay that bill? You know, and just part of, this might not be the most economical part, but it is a very important part of the, you know, people's existence. You know, there's just a lot of trepidations out there. And gosh, I think at this point, I know that I'm slated to be the speaker after Catherine. I would love to do it. I might not be as high tech as you guys are talking. I'm willing to learn, but gosh, I could spend easily 10 minutes just telling you about some of the questions and some of the concerns that, you know, Renette, and I'm sure, Dean, I know, you know, we're fielding these calls and trying to keep people calm and let them know that, you know, this will pass and this is going to be figured out. And, you know, here's what you need to know if you're going to defer your mortgage, or, you know, can I not pay my rent? You know, these are all really valid questions that are on the top of people's minds right now. And, you know, I would love the opportunity. I mean, Andrew's mentioning 5 minutes about talking today. I could easily talk just about mortgage and rent deferrals, you know, today, if you wanted to. I would love to give a little bit more detailed speech about these things that we're fielding right now. So back to you guys.
Cool. Well, I mean, what time we're on now? We're on what, 1:15? So I mean, we should probably all do a couple of minutes of spurge anyway, and then yeah. I mean, I have to shoot off earlier than I want to anyway, because at the moment, due to staffing, I'm assistant manager and the vault teller, so I'm now.
Ooh, you got a promotion.
Not really. I'm the teller as well now, so I've got a cash shipment of money coming in this morning. So it's lots of fun. But I mean, let's just do our minutes, and I mean, once we've done that, if anyone wants to be the speaker and carry on, whilst I can leave Nikki in charge, then if need be, and we want to get the full hour and 15. But who should we start with? Who should I pick on? Tony, you've been quiet. Crack on, my friend. What's happening? What can we do?
What are we doing? Are we doing 1 minute?
Yeah.
1 minute. Let's call it 2 minutes. You know,
2 minutes.
Whatever.
Be liberal with it and just kind of say what you're doing and how we can help for the time being. So kind of what you would normally do and what's happening. So I guess next 30 seconds on what's changed really.
Okay, well, good morning. I'm Tony Warfield with Three Leaf Realty, your South Bay real estate specialist. And things are changing day by day. So last week I talked about things that were happening, and Tom wasn't on the call, and I shared, what was happening with how mortgage companies he dealt with were having troubles, and then the rates have changed off and on over the last week or so. They've improved if you're with the banks, what we call a depository bank versus a mortgage lending company. The rates and fees are completely different. So that's helpful. Unfortunately for Tom, he's really suffering. His business is completely changed and disappeared for the time being. And then, we were a non-essential business, and then the other day they changed the real estate back to an essential business that now we can operate, but not as normal. We can't still go and do open houses or put a client in the car and take them to show houses. So we are still changing and just waiting to see what's new with regulations, with the Car Association of Realtors, with the National Association of Realtors, with the governor. It's just changing sometimes day by day. So we're trying to be flexible. I'm reaching out to people I've talked to over the past month to a year back, where maybe I've met people at open houses and they see if they ever did purchase a home, if they're looking at refinancing, if they purchased a home previously with me. I'm letting them know that get ready to refi if possible when things up and the environment changes. So I don't really have a specific request for a referral right now. Obviously, there's probably more sellers interested in selling than buyers right now, just lending and mortgage problems they might have in purchasing. So selling, there might be more sellers interested in leaving the state or just cashing in and moving somewhere a lot more cheaper because it's economical now. If you come across any people who have start tossing ideas out, like how expensive California is, let me know.
Thank you, Tony. Tag someone.
Can I go next? I'm gonna have to go in a few minutes.
That's fine. Crack on, Renette.
Okay, so Renette with Lagniappe Accounting. As you know, it's the middle of tax season and everything has changed. Tax day is now not April 15th, it's July 15th. That is for all payments due and filing. However, we can file it before that date. The key to this is the money due, if you owe taxes, is not due till July. Interest and penalties starting then. Also, estimated payments, anything that was due April 15th is now due July 15th, which makes two estimated payment. The second estimated payment due before the first one is now due. Second estimated payment is now due June 15th, and the first one is due July 15th. So if you have questions about your individual things, please let me know. It's very confusing now. Also, there are a bunch of, as you know, small business loans going on right now. I highly suggest you apply for all of them. I sent out the link either early this week. I've lost track of days. I can't remember when I sent it out to all.
Yeah, I saw it.
For the SBA registration online, which could mean immediate $10,000 deposit before they even review the loan, depending on what happens there. But also apply for your bank. If you're in that position to apply for those loans, apply for all the loans. The only key is you need to tell everywhere you're applying that you're applying at other places as well. These loans could turn into grants after this is all said and done. If you prove the that you use the money for things like rent, utilities, payroll, necessary things to keep your business going. These loans are also good for corporations, LLCs, sole proprietors. Even if you're a single member LLC or a sole proprietor, you can apply for these loans. Please do. If they're not forgiven at the end and turn into grants, there'll be like, I think the maximum is 4% interest loan that you can pay off over the next 10 years, which is pretty low. So please do that if you're in that position. Any individual tax questions, please contact me privately. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Renette, if someone has, not for me, but for others who I'm talking to, some people have a sole prop, which is one business, and they also have a corporation that's another. Can they each apply, or can?
Yes,
Okay.
every entity can apply. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
I have
Thank
a couple of clients with 3 or 4, and they're applying for all of them for all businesses.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes.
Good
Well,
question.
Does anybody know, you know, what would be, I applied for the link you sent. Thank you, Renette. Any other websites or links that we might be able to apply to, like a local Los Angeles city or county? You know,
They're supposed to be going through banks, so you might want to just check with your bank.
Okay.
But I'm sure the information's out there somewhere on some website.
Andrew?
I don't know if you guys all follow my Facebook page, but I'm posting whatever I think is relevant as I get it. So please find Lagniappe Accounting on Facebook and follow it, and you'll see whatever I get from all of the agencies or all of the informational sources I have, I post there.
Thank you, Renette. I've got Dean next on the screen, so that's where I'm going.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say to anyone you guys talk to, if they ask you about the market or the stock market, what's going on. As I told you before, the one thing the market hates is uncertainty, and we've got a ton of it. You've seen it actually stabilize, though, in the last week. We're in the, 21, 22 range, which is actually a very good thing. I told Rick a couple of weeks ago that I think if you look at China, it looks like a 2 month to 2.5 months before it peaked. Obviously, we don't know how reliable the numbers are, but that's what we're looking at. So the market's looking at this as a temporary setback, as it should, but there's going to be a lot of, as we said, companies that are doing better because of this and a lot that are doing worse, which is why you want to just let your manager of your mutual fund do his thing. He's got all the info, way more than any of us have. And they are actively rotating out of the bad stocks or perceived, stocks that they should move out of into stocks that they should go into. So basically what I'm saying is, if you have concerns or if your clients have concerns, they can call me. But really, we're just saying hold tight, keep, stay where you are. It's too late to get out. If you do get out, you've locked in a 25% or 20% loss, and then you don't know when to get back in. You don't know when we're going to have the next 2,000 or 1,000 point up day, and you don't want to miss that. So basically, sit tight, ride it out. If it is temporary and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel in a month and a half, then the market's going to jump back up, probably about to recoup half of what we lost, and then we'll probably go up from there. So if this gets resolved, we'll be fine. If not, then we've got a whole lot of other problems to worry about. So I'm just saying sit tight. It's probably going to be resolved, and the market will go back up with some adjustments. The other thing I just wanted to say, I'm fine, but I think we should probably refund some of that money that we have. I mean, I've always said we have way too much. So I'd be, happy to give money back to people who need it. I'm fortunate right now. I'm okay. But, if we wanted to do that, I don't want to create more work for Renette, but I'm fine with refunding people's dues if they need it or, whatever.
That's something we could look at if we decide to leave pro rata stuff. But that's a thing for another day. But we'll bring that in over next week. But thank you, Dean. I got Rick in the hole next.
Oh, good morning. Rick Castillion, State Farm.
Bless you.
Thank you.
We do home auto, commercial, and one thing that's come up, which is fairly interesting, is business interruption insurance and business interruption coverage. And unfortunately, the coverage is opened up if the initial loss is insurable. So in other words, if you have a fire at your business, or some sort of a robbery or something like that, and you have to shut it down for a month, then the business interruption coverage is opened up. So I've been hearing that that for a lot of restaurants that are shut down, they're kind of hoping that possibly the government would back up a move to open up that business interruption coverage. So that's something that might happen. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the insurance industry is going to do anything unless the federal government backs that up. But that's a possibility that's out there. So and as far as our business goes, I am in the office, and there's just Rosa and I. So we're trying to keep the business open as much as we can, business as usual, because we still have people coming in who still want to talk. So we are trying to accommodate those people, and but yet respectful of the social distancing issue. So so far, knock on wood, with my business, it's sort of business as usual. I do see though that when people start having to make a decision as to whether they need to pay their rent or pay their insurance bill, they're going to pay their rent or if they're going to eat or pay their insurance bill. So I think there may be some issues down the road, but for now, we're okay, so, and then I did want to ask what you all thought of marketing right now. Is that just weird to me? Like, I don't think, we still need to network, but how do you go about marketing your business in a time like this? I feel like I don't know. That's just a thought that popped into my head, and just, I'd like to know what other people's thoughts are about that.
Well, I can jump in and add
Yeah,
my 2 cents.
That's a great topic for next week too.
Yeah, I've experienced quite a bit of projects that people are playing possum, and that's unfortunate. But it's just sort of the climate we're in. I think messaging should center around being helpful and supportive and encouraging. I'm here for you. How can I help you through this to stabilize your business and help you retain clients or keep business? So, rather than being buy now, you need this, it's more of an approach of support and encouragement. And reaching out to people personally, I think, is really important. I think everyone should reach out to all their key clients. And Zoom's a great way, face to face, because it just shows people you're a real person rather than a voice or an email. So the personal touch,
Right, you might as well carry on, excuse me, and tell me, do you a minute or 2 minutes while you're on?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I've had a number of projects that are sort of in flux and either on hold or just big question mark. So marketing's been rather slow, but I'm still networking and reaching out to people. I spent 7 or 8 hours the other night helping a client in DC apply to a micro grant, disaster relief micro grants, 2 of them. And you got to love government websites. I completed the whole entire thing. I think I was maybe 5 or 10 minutes past the deadline when I hit the submit button, and I got a big red flash message. You passed the deadline, you can't submit. And I'm like, really? Emailed them, got an extension to the next day, 24-hour extension. So, but I'm doing what I can to help this client because he's an arts organization. Their entire run of a play was bagged, and their next play that opens early in May is probably going to be in jeopardy too, because they have to rehearse in April. They have to plan, they have to design costumes and sets and rehearse. So he's really in a sticky widget. So I'm just trying to do what I can to help him communicate with his audiences that, this is a temporary and we're going to come back stronger than ever, but we need your support to get through this kind of thing. So, rather than, you all know what I do, marketing communications, being creative, full service. I'm willing to offer anybody in the group who needs wants to run something by me, gratis. By all means, I'm here to help and be supportive to you guys. If you have a graphic or an email or a flyer and you want me to just give it the once over and do a copy edit or add my creative spin to it, I'm happy to do that for you guys. And I'm pretty slick with making graphics too, so I can make some graphics for you. Gosh, that's about it right now. I was joking with Peggy over a glass of wine last night. Thank goodness we have our wine business, which is our side hustle. We had some of the best wine sales ever, last month.
Right.
We had some sales and people are buying online. They want that shipped straight to their doorstep. And so, thank goodness for that. That's $4,300 of income that we would not have had. And that's going to help pay our credit card bill. So,
nice. Thank you for your offer as well, Brian. I'm sure someone will take you up on that. Tom, you want to have 2 minutes and rattle on about what's happened in your world and how it's changing?
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, everybody. Tom Hardesty from South Bay Equity. There's a boatload to talk about. Tony alluded a moment ago about basically my business, the brokerage world right now is completely the lenders that I use, the lenders that we go through to do our loans, basically have told us that in no uncertain terms at this time, we're not going to do loans. So I really don't have any options. I know it sounds crazy, but the world that I work in is not the same as the financial institutions at St. Andrew. And thank God Tony found a good outlet for the customer that we were working with, because I had no options. And we know what's going to happen. We know that, as soon as this situation alleviates, all of our brokers are going to come back. We're going to be super, super low rates. So I work together with my son, and he keeps telling me, yeah, just keep on plugging that pipeline, just keep on putting these customers in there, because we know what's going to happen. As soon as things calm down and go back to normal, interest rates are just going to plummet. And, with the money that's going into the banking industry right now, the support that the government's giving the banking industry, the banks are going to be freed up to do new loans. All the brokers will be freed up to do new loans. And that competition is going to create a situation where the rates are just going to keep going down and down and down. So, what I'm telling, Tony, and what I'm telling, any of my other customers is, this is temporary, and we know that the markets is still solid, and we know that the rates are going to be going down, down, down. So sit tight. We'll throw you in our pipeline for now. And, at some point, we'll get back to you with hopefully great news that the rates are, super low. So that's it. I'm kind of on standby. I'm trying to just answer questions to my customers and just be, like Brian said, be a servant at this point, and be a good steward to the people that need you and be their friends. So anyway, that's me.
Thank you, Tom. What about Imelda? What's going on?
Hi, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Good morning, Attorney Imelda Valdivia. Thanks for everybody's input and information. Sorry I wasn't here last week. For me, I'll just reiterate what I do: estate planning, will trust, probate, and divorces, premarital agreements on the family law side. What I will say is this is a really great time, especially on my estate planning side, for people to start thinking about that, right? This is the kind of thing where you really can't prepare for it, or, there's just literally just happened almost overnight. But what I do is help my clients to just plan, prepare, set it aside, and you're done. And what's great for me, if you, come across, friends, relatives, clients, what I do with my estate plans is I do give my clients homework. So it actually, this is a great time because a lot of people tend to put this off on a back burner once I give you your homework because, you know, you don't want to think about it. So you kind of leave it there for a couple of weeks and you don't do it. And what I mean by that is providing you with all the information for your wills and trusts. And since we are home, now people are kind of forced to think about these things and maybe work on that homework a little bit more and get that ready for me a little bit faster. The only part that I'm obviously not ready on is at the end when we have to then sign and execute everything because typically that's in person and get the notarized. So hopefully if I have a client who starts in on the paperwork now and starts working on homework, even if it's a month or so, hopefully this will be over in a month or two at the most. And at that point, I've got everything ready and we can all meet in person and execute everything. So it's a little bit weird for me at this point because again, a lot of what I do is, you know, person to person, obviously like a lot of you. The other day before this really kind of locked down a little bit more, I met with a client in person. She came in and so I had her sit at the other end of the conference table, so we were at least 6 feet apart. So it was a little weird, you know, but no, we got it done. We needed to go through a lot of things for her, and that was doable at that point in time. Now, the fire department did come into the office, not that same day, but they came another day, and they said, "Oh, everybody needs to go home." So, you know, who knows? But at this point, it would be great for people to think about it, get your wills and trusts and estate plan documents in place, or at least get going and start working on them so that once this is over, whether it's a month or 2 months, we will have it in process and then we can finish it once we're all able to meet together. And that's it for me for today. And, you know, again, I think of everybody in this group and I'm constantly trying to think out, you know, I don't know if, again, I don't know how somebody else in the group asked, you know, about marketing and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's really, really tough again, because it's that physical contact now with people, you know, sitting with them. But I do try to think of people and say, hey, even in emails or my phone calls with my clients, to give one of you a call for whatever they might need. So that still works, you know, phone calls, emails, or even this thing. And that's another thing really quick, not to do with my presentation, my 1 minute, but I do like this because I'm really, really not a good tech person, as I mentioned. So for me, it's kind of neat to learn about how to do this stuff because I'm really kind of behind the times, as my husband always says. So thanks for doing this and for
Thank you, Imelda.
Hey, you guys. Did you all notice that Imelda's speaker was really crackly?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we should give each other feedback like that too, because obviously with a client, she wouldn't want that. Imelda, your microphone might be bad or something. You might want to try something different next time.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We're getting a lot of static and couldn't hear everything you said.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
So just to give you some feedback on that.
If you're on a phone, Imelda, it might be as simple as just being a little closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
To the
Or
microphone.
making sure the wire doesn't move or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we should give each other feedback like that too, because we're all new. I've never done this before, so definitely helps the experience.
You can do an audio check and a visual check.
Yeah.
One additional tip, you know, we all look a little more flattering if your camera is on eye level or even slightly above your eye level. You know, it's when people take selfies, they look a little bit better and more appealing if it's slightly above you. But
I was going to say, Brian, your screen looks like a postcard compared to all the rest of us.
Yeah. That's a virtual background. Yeah.
It looks great.
I'll mix it up now and then, but yeah, I mean, just be aware of when you're backlit. Like there's several people who are backlit right now, like Rick and Catherine, and even you, Dean. You look like you're in limbo, like purgatory.
I kind of am.
Your face is in the foggy shadows, and it's very like, yeah, I expect St. Gabriel to come out from behind you. Yeah,
How's that?
I mean, here's
I
a
did
couple
feel a
real
little
quick
heavy
tips.
today.
You want the lighting source to be in front of you. You want the camera to be at eye level or slightly above. Yeah, much better, much better. And that way people can see your face more clearly, and you're not as it's alienating when the lighting and the camera angle, and especially when you're vertical, you know, like Rick and Imelda, I'd recommend you turn your cameras on your side. That way you can get a little bit closer to the camera, because your face won't fill the entire narrowness, right? When you're like this, if you're, my hand is, your face fills the whole screen, but when you're horizontal, it's just much more natural, more dramatic to look at you. And Tony, you're really in the dark, so
I know. That's why I keep turning my computer monitor on, so I have a little face lit.
yeah. I mean, we can barely
I need
even
to turn around or something.
we can barely even see your facial
Yeah.
expressions.
Yeah.
It's like you're in the dark. So, and
I
you're
know.
backlit with windows behind you. And I'm only pointing all this out
No, I know.
because if you're going to do this with clients, you want to look your absolute best, and it's
Right.
just all about accentuating how attractive you are visually as well as interpersonally. And so, like right now, Imelda, the camera is way down low. And when we're looking up at you, you look like a giant.
Well, you know, I'm a short person, right?
Well, yeah. And Rick too. We're looking up at you, and we see mostly the room and your tiny little head. So, you know, just kind of practice this out with somebody else on a Zoom call.
Okay.
And Bob, you're a little washed out. You're a little too bright.
Yeah, I'm in front of the window and the sun's shining in, so I'm going to have to adjust that a little bit.
Yeah. You know, just food for thought.
Good feedback.
Who's next, Bob?
Yeah, I'll make it quick. You know, we've been on for almost an hour, and so in the future we'll try to do a little bit better. But this has been very good. And Bob Kelchner, Nikan Home Wellness Products, and you've heard me say this before. We want to be healthy by choice, not chance, and we're right in the middle of something that none of us have ever anticipated or looked into. The entire country is somewhat shut down. And so my business is basically the same as it's been for 14 years. We work from home. We work on a phone. We work on a computer. We deal with other consultants like us and our team members. And what I'd like to do while we're doing this is share some little information, a little tidbit of information, and then move on. You've heard me talk a lot about water, and we have consultants that are MDs and PhDs in medical field, and I'm watching briefings all week. One of the little things that came up was very interesting. There's an MD that is also a Nikan consultant that pointed out that this virus, when it kind of floats around, it comes in and it'll come into your throat. And it actually sits in your throat for about 3 or 4 days before it gets into the lungs. So what they recommend is drink water 10, 15, at least 10 or 15 minutes every day. It doesn't like hot, so you could drink hot beverages, hot coffee, hot tea, things like that. And actually, I don't think it's important whether you use a Nikan bottle or bottled water, any kind of water, but drink something every 10 or 15 minutes, keep the throat wet, and that actually washes the virus down into the stomach, where the stomach acids take care of the virus. So that's a little tidbit that I'd like to pass on to everybody. And that's it. That's all I got today.
Thank you, Bob. Who we not had? Catherine, do you want another couple of minutes? You're on mute, if so.
Hi.
She's
Thank you for all the tidbits, Brian. I appreciate it. And it's nice to see everybody's face and be here with you guys. Catherine with Embrace Bliss. I'm not doing any events right now. Looking for delivery jobs, I think. I don't know which, honestly, way I'm going to go to make some money in these next couple of months to make things work. Homeschooling the kids. But I'm looking at trying to help people as tech knowledgeable as I am, maybe getting exceedingly great at that to help people put events or groups on virtually. I mean, I know that's the way a lot of our current clients have left doing a big event in Las Vegas for a week. Now they're going to do it all online. So how do you bring everything online? Do you need, what does that entail? So I've got a lot of learning to do, but I'm still looking for ways to bring in money on the immediate basis, because everything, like some of you guys, everything has completely stopped and still, and I don't know when this does end. When will people feel okay to go to an event, to go where there's a big group of people or even a small group of people? I don't know how many, Tony has kids in school age, but schools are out till September now. There's no more school. So we are in this for the long haul. I'm glad that we're all healthy. I'm glad we're all here. I would, make sure that you guys all keep us informed of health and make sure that we're all doing good and reach out with whatever you need. I definitely have time. I'm definitely here to help with anything and trying to keep that joyful, blissful note in everything I do. Thanks.
You should definitely look into the loans, Catherine.
What am I going to get a loan for? For
your business. Well, some of the other people filled out the applications already, but the thing is, the rate I think they said is going to be 4%, but they may be forgiven. A lot of them may turn into grants, so it's worth it just to get money now at a cheaper rate than you can get anywhere else, and it may be forgiven.
That's true. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, good shot. Who have I missed? Nikki, do you want to have a couple of minutes? I have to apologise. I've had the camera off because I've managed to take you all in the shower with me, and now I'm driving to work. So I apologise for being a bit incognito.
Well, that's multitasking.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that.
Thank you for turning the camera off.
Yeah, TMI.
I thought it was a bit too racy for first thing in the morning, so I turned the camera off. Anyway, Nikki.
Alrighty, I'm Nikki Payne with Hypnodipity. I'm your South Bay hypnotherapist. I'm borrowing from Tony. And one thing I want to well, obviously I provide hypnotherapy, and one thing that I wanted to start including in my 1 minute is that hypnotherapy is an alternative form of healthcare that can treat a variety of issues from low confidence, poor self-esteem, and insecurities to chronic pain, performance anxiety, whether that's sports or in the bedroom or talent, even relationship heartbreak. But you don't need a problem to see a therapist. Most people think that in order to see a therapist, I have to have a problem or issue. All you need to have is a goal that you want to achieve. So maybe right now during this time, someone wants to write a book. Maybe someone wants to eat healthier. Maybe someone wants to make physical exercise a daily habit now that they're at home all the time. If they just have a goal, I can work with them. One thing that I definitely want to highlight in terms of how my business has changed, as most of the clients that I work with, I am starting to get younger clients, but my base clients are probably 40 and up. They're not tech savvy. They like in-person sessions. So even though they may have purchased a package of sessions with me, fortunately, no one has asked for a refund because they bought a package and then now they can't see me in person. But most of them said, I'd rather just wait until this whole thing blows over because they prefer the in-person sessions. And I even had one client express to me this idea that, oh, it's not going to be as effective. Where people are getting that idea of how hypnotherapy is not as effective, it's only effective in person versus online, that is a misconception. Hypnotherapy is every bit as effective. It doesn't matter the medium that you do it. It's effective. I've done it by phone, where all I'm using is their voice to hear how induced they are in trance. I do it online. I could still see their eye muscle movements. I could still see their, so I can still visually see if they're in hypnosis. It's every bit as effective online. And so I actually created an infographic. I'll send it to you guys if you just for your reference, but I'm making a case for hypnotherapy in terms of it's convenient for people. It's accessible for people, it's safer at home, and it's equally as effective as in-person sessions. So that's definitely a trend I've been noticing, where it's going to be my job to educate the public that doing therapy in an online format is every bit effective. So that's all I have. If you know anyone experiencing extreme anxiety or depression, because that's the biggest concern in the mental health industry right now, is how this idea of isolating, quarantining, not being able to, especially extroverts. I've noticed a trend in extroverts being a lot more disturbed by this whole social distancing as opposed to introverts, which is, for introverts, it's like, oh, I'm having a field day. Like, what's the problem? And the big concern in the industry is that people are either going to experience intense anxiety and intense depression. And with that comes concerns about suicidality at the same time. So if you hear of anyone losing hope, feeling like it's pointless, those are signs to watch out for in terms of monitoring someone's mental health, like feeling hopeless, feeling like they have no control, no power. That's where they would come see someone like me, because then I would help reorient them, help them. Basically, what I'm going to be teaching people these coming months is how to self-soothe, which is an important skill of how to soothe yourself when you are experiencing anxiety and depression, and being comfortable with reaching out to people, because some people don't feel comfortable reaching out saying, hey, I need a friend, I need support, I need someone to listen. So if you hear of anyone struggling with anxiety, depression, definitely send them my way. Nikki Payne, Hypnodipity.
Thank you, Nikki. I think Brian Evans, I think you didn't really you had a little talk earlier, but you might as well get your
Yeah, so 2 things I want to share during my time. The first is I've just sent to everyone an invitation. I'm asking you to share and I'd also encourage each of you to join me. It's for, I'm going to share screen now. This is a kind of an open forum, lightly facilitated offering that I'm making on Monday mornings for anyone of any business to come in, receive tactical business strategies for how to navigate during this time, network with each other, and receive inspiration. So for those of you who can see it on the screen, this is the visual that I'm using. I've put it out on Facebook. I put it out on Instagram. I've also shared it with each of you via email a couple of minutes ago. So I'd encourage you guys to please send this around, share it freely. There's no RSVP required. I just wanted to have an open space where people can come and receive what they need in terms of support as we move through this together. The other thing is that is that one of the strategies that I offered, I sent each of you my notes from the 3 Keys webinar that I conducted on the 23rd. One of the keys is relates to the fact that we don't have to stop marketing, but we have to pivot how we market, the message that we're putting out, how it's communicated. It can be simplified, it can be relevant, but I think one of the things that I'm experiencing or I'm seeing and speaking with business owners is that there is 2 things. Number one, there's a perception that, well, I have to stop marketing because nothing's happening, and that doesn't have to be true. The second thing is, well, I can't put out a positive message or even a marketing message because the timing is bad and it would look bad. This is actually a time where we can thrive, and it doesn't make anybody's situation worse if you thrive. There's a real sort of, and we could go way down a rabbit hole on this. There's a mental emotional perception that I can't be happy, I can't thrive, I can't get my business out there because there's so much misery out there. And that's one of the things that I think we're going to talk about in this in the Monday Morning Java, is how to actually pivot yourself so that you are out there, you are visible, you are helping and serving others, but you're also very clearly saying, I'm open for business. So that's what I would offer for today. Please do come in yourself. Join me on Monday. I don't want to be the only one there, and pass it around freely and invite others to come in, and we'll see what we can all create together. Brian, talk to MJ. I talked to him yesterday, and I think he's ready to go. So there may be some business going your way right now.
Yeah, I haven't heard a peep.
I talked to him yesterday, so
it's kind of understandable. So I'm not.
Well, he's a surgeon, and he's dealing with a lot in the health in the system that he's in. So
cool. Thanks for that tip, Brian.
Thank you.
Really great.
Has everyone spoken?
Yes.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So timing we didn't do as well.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost
I think
Andrew.
we lost you, Andrew.
Are you there?
Okay.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, he's cutting it out.
That's fine.
Are you on a move, Andrew? Are you driving?
Oh, I think he is.
Yeah, I think he's going to work.
So Tom, while we have this gap, did you say you cannot do any mortgages at all right now? Did I hear that correctly?
That's correct. All my lenders have pulled up all their options. I have 0 options. I'm completely dead in the water right
Did
now.
they give you a date or anything, or just
No, at this point,
whenever?
it's to be
Wow.
determined. We'll see.
The question I had for Andrew, do you know if Comerica is still offering the HELOCs? I would probably, right?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me, everyone?
Now we can, yeah.
Perfect. I literally just went into the underground car park at work, so I lost everyone. So I guess I'll do my spiel now. If I can get some quiet. So yeah, the bank, we're still open. We're less hours. We are still doing HELOCs. There was a question Bob asked earlier.
Mhm.
We're only lending to 80% of the equity now, though, rather than 90%. So that's a change the bank has made based on the current situation. People do ask a lot about the SBA lines. You start with the actual website, and then I think you contact us or Renette, and you can get certain documents to help with the application. The bank does actually do our own version of the SBA lines, but again, they're not through the forgiveness scheme. What else can I tell you? I think that's about it, really. I mean, at the moment, if you're paying for something and you want to save money, chat to me and we'll see what we can do. I've done about 6 account switches in the last 2 weeks trying to save people money here and there. So same applies, we'll find a way. And yeah, and I guess next week I'll be strict with the times. 15 minutes open business for 2 minutes, and hopefully Catherine's going to dazzle us with a presentation. And,
Dazzle.
Yes.
Hey, Andrew?
Yeah.
Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can you give me your cell phone?
Yeah, I'll text you. Dean.
Okay,
I've got you on-
thanks.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries. So yeah, that's.
And one other thing, you guys, I noticed, Bob, please use my personal email for a team. It's dkumagawa@yahoo.com. I don't want it going to my business because they're monitored. Not that there's anything bad, but I would rather not have it monitored. So if you all can, please just use my personal dkumagawa@yahoo.com. Thanks.
Yeah, the same for me as well. I've had a few go to my work ones, and it's easier to for it to go to my personal one. Bear with me, I'm just going into work now. But yeah, right. So, is there anything else anyone wants to add whilst I'm
So
actually
just-
back in the
I had a-
office now?
I had a quick question. So we're just keeping the Zoom to ourselves, right? We're not going to go through the headquarters or whatever?
Yeah, for the time being, I think, because I didn't know what sensitive nature was going to be spoken, if anything. So I think that's why we were going to disband or what was happening. But I don't really want, pioneers listening. Bob's already got a link that he's got set up. It's longer than the 45 minutes that we would have set up through the team. As long as Bob's happy to keep sharing and recording these meetings, if anyone wants to watch this back, then I think we should allow him to do so. He's the resident, Zoom expert / chapter tech, aren't you, Bob? So we'll follow his lead on this.
Okay.
So, but I'll call a few of you. Bob, I'll call you back on your question, and Dean, I'll text you on that. And if anyone's got any suggestion for open business, I suggest we kind of email in advance of time, and then we can stick more to an agenda, because I don't know how it's possible. We've run over more on this than we would in person. So, but yeah, I think everyone's left anyway now. Oh, no, everyone's still here. Anyone else want to add anything? You can see my garden where I work.
Nice.
But yeah. Well, I've got a counter shipment now, so I apologize for kind of going AWOL in the middle. I was listening, and I had to turn the camera off, and I was wonderful. Cool. Anyone else? Brian, thank you. Well, Renette's not here, but thank you for her information as well. Rick and Tom, good to see you on the Zoom with access to speaking as well, which is nice. I'm going to duck out. If you want to carry on, crack on. It's a free world.
Okay, this is
Bye, Andrew.
I've recorded this, and it's 90 minutes today, and we'll probably have to talk about trying to, but everybody had a had a contribution, and very interesting. And what I'm going to do is I'll send out a link to the recording. You can fast forward through it. And the beauty about it is that there was something somebody was talking about that you're very interested in. You can go to that point where they're speaking and re-listen to it. So like I said, I'm going to send it out. 90 minutes is a long time for everybody, but everybody's ready, and we'll come back next week. If you're ready to end the meeting, I'll end the meeting.
Sounds
Perfect.
good. Thanks, guys.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good week.
Take care, everyone.
It was great.
Thanks, everyone.